Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I want you to tell me in the comments if this has ever happened to you. You're on a call with your supervisor and maybe a few of your coworkers. And the topic is a project that you play a crucial role in. You know you have valuable points or updates or information to share, and you want to voice your ideas, but the conversation just keeps going on without you. The meeting is over before you even manage to say a word. And despite your best efforts, the moment to make your contribution, it never seemed to arrive. You were waiting and waiting, and it never came. And instead of feeling good about how the meeting went, you feel inadequate. You leave the call since you never managed to politely assert yourself and express your thoughts. You feel badly about yourself. So you start doubting your capabilities. If you have ever found yourself in a situation like this, then rest assured it is normal, it is common, and that is exactly what we are talking about today. So if you are joining me live, say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are watching from today. Let me make sure I have my eyes on the chat here so I can see all of you. I am Melody Wilding. I'm an executive coach, and I'm the author of a book called Trust Yourself: Stop Overthinking and Channel Your Emotions for Success at Work. I'm also the creator of a 3-month coaching program called Resilient. It is my signature program. It is a first of its kind, the most comprehensive program to help sensitive leaders and high achievers, people I call sensitive strivers, regain their confidence, master their emotions, and reach their full potential at work. And it's a really exciting week here. It's a great, exciting time because early enrollment in Resilient is now open. The spots are extremely limited, and we're about halfway full at this point. I only run the program once or twice a year. So if you are at all interested in joining us, you want to head to the QR code here on the screen. You can take out your phone. You can take out your phone, open the camera app, and that will bring you to a link to, okay, just wanted to make sure we were live. Okay. Take out your phone, open the camera app. That will bring you to a link to either directly register or you can book a free call with me. You can also head to melodywilding.com/resilient. All right, for some reason, I am not seeing the chat. If you are here, make sure to say hello in the chat. I want to know where you are watching from today. It looks like on LinkedIn, some of you are chatting, but I am not able to see it from my end here. But I'm going to keep moving along. So with Resilient, actually now is the time to sign up. Again, I mentioned I only run the program once or twice a year. About half of the spots are already full. Plus, we are now in the early bird period. And that early bird rate of getting $500 off your enrollment expires in just a few days. So if you want in, make sure you secure your spot before next Tuesday, December 12th. And our alumni say that Resilient is unlike anything they have tried or they have done before. And that is precisely because the combination of live coaching, the customized curriculum, and the high-level community of other supportive, sensitive strivers. Our alumni call this program life-changing and our live work together life-changing because you get direct access to me, my certified co-coach, Wendy Carey, to tackle whatever challenges you are facing. The curriculum itself is packed with actionable, concrete, practical, science-backed strategies. This is not fluff. This is not platitude. And all of it is tailored to your unique wiring as a sensitive striver. And plus, I'm willing to bet that you want to stop feeling so alone in your career. And Resilient is that chance for you to meet, connect with, build a community of like-minded, intelligent professionals who understand what it's like to navigate work and the world thinking and feeling everything so deeply, and they become your brain trust. So I want you to play a little game with me. I want you to imagine it's 1 year from now. It is December 2024. And imagine voicing an idea in a meeting without going down an emotional spiral before, during, or after. Imagine confidently making decisions for yourself, for your team, without needing a second opinion or validation from somebody else. Imagine setting boundaries with an overbearing coworker, a difficult boss, without feeling guilty or worrying about what they're going to think of you. This doesn't have to just be an imaginary exercise. This can be your reality. So make sure, if you are at all interested, you head to that QR code here on the screen to check out Resilient. That is our 3-month coaching program that takes sensitive strivers like you from overthinking, struggling to make decisions, people pleasing, to reaching the end of the workday feeling accomplished, grounded, and proud of yourself. And that also brings me to today's topic, which is getting your voice heard in meetings without overthinking. Because with the end of the year coming up very quickly, now is the time to reflect and strategize about how you want to be setting yourself up for success in 2024. I recently did a survey with my audience, and refining communication skills, coupled with overcoming self-doubt and overthinking, that was the number one goal people had for the year ahead. This is also one of the top challenges that sensitive strivers come into Resilient looking for support with. They know they have value to share, but they need help getting out of their own way. The skill of speaking up in a way others respect and that you are proud of, it's not a nice to have. It is essential. Now, meetings in particular have gotten a bad rap for being inefficient and useless, but most professionals, and I'm assuming you would count yourself among this, and give me a +1 if this is true for you. Most professionals still spend up to a third of their work week in meetings. And in my experience, it's actually much, much more than that, whether you like it or not. So if during these meetings you check out, you underprepare, you get overwhelmed when you do have a chance to contribute, you're missing out on some of the best opportunities to increase your visibility, to showcase your value to multiple stakeholders and decision makers at once. If you're like most of the clients I work with, then you are now working in a hybrid where you're going into the office some days, you're working from home other days, or you're in a distributed work environment where the people you work with may not even be in the same region of the country or world as you. They may not work in the same time zone as you. So in this type of setting, you don't have the same physical presence as you would in a traditional office. Your contributions in meetings become the primary way your colleagues and your leaders perceive your involvement, your competence, your dedication. If you're not heard, you're often not seen. You are not top of mind, and you can be easily forgotten about, unfortunately. If you're not voicing your opinions or ideas, you're missing the opportunity to shape the outcomes, to influence the direction of projects, strategies, your workplace as a whole. There's a real risk, if you are remote or hybrid, of becoming out of sight, out of mind. So actively participating in meetings helps counter this. It is your opportunity to remind everyone that you're not just a name in an email header, you are part of the team and a valuable contributor to the team. Speaking up in meetings is also more than just being heard and saying something for the sake of it. It's about demonstrating your value. It's about showing that you are engaged, you are thinking critically, and you have something worthwhile to contribute. That is how you make your mark. Because leadership isn't just a title. It is a set of behaviors. Speaking up in meetings, offering solutions, providing insights are all ways you demonstrate your leadership, regardless of what your role is. Communication is the cornerstone of relationship building. And in a hybrid, remote environment, meetings might be your main interaction with your teammates and those people above you. Speaking up is what helps you forge connections, even if you're at a distance from people. In a distributed work environment where body language cues are less apparent, clear and concise communication becomes even more essential. Your ability to articulate your ideas effectively can set the tone for how work is done. Now, you are probably here because you consider yourself to be a sensitive striver. And if that is true, say me in the comments here. And that means you are part of the 15 to about 30% of the population that has a more active nervous system. And this is totally normal. It's a normal biological variation. It doesn't mean that you are weird. It does mean you are wired differently. And therefore, you might respond differently to what's happening both within and around you. All right, I want to check in with the chat here. I'm going to head over to LinkedIn because for some reason I am not able to see the chat on my end through my system here. Okay, let's see. I see a lot of you are commenting. I want to check in with this. Let me just silence that. Perfect. Okay, Mohammed, welcome. Rahul, Omar, Steve, great to see you. Nadeem, Colleen, Amber, great to have you here. Excellent. Okay, let me know how all of this is resonating with you as well. Now, getting your voice heard in meetings can be particularly challenging for sensitive strivers. And that has to do many times with the inherent traits we have and how those typically interact with meeting dynamics. So for example, sensitive strivers tend to process information more deeply. That is a trait that's linked to increased brain activity in areas like attention, planning action, decision making. And that's been shown in MRI studies that sensitive people have more brain activity in those areas. Now, while deep processing can be a huge strength, if it's not managed correctly or you're not aware of it, it can pose challenges in meetings, especially when quick responses are needed, thinking on your feet is needed. Sensitive strivers might take longer to process information, to formulate their thoughts. That makes it more difficult to contribute on the spot. Who has ever been there? Say me in the chat. And in meetings, especially if it's a lively conversation or maybe it's even a contentious one, sensitive strivers might find themselves quickly overstimulated, more stressed more quickly. And that can make it harder to participate and show up in the way you want to. And not only that, you have probably found you have a high drive for perfection. You're in a meeting and this can morph into a voice in your head telling you that your ideas aren't polished enough. What if I haven't thought through this idea completely? That quest for perfection can make you hesitant to contribute. And you fear that anything less than absolute perfection might reveal that you are an imposter. You are also more empathetic. Sensitive people rather, have more active mirror neurons, which means you're more attuned to other people's emotions. And this empathy, again, a huge advantage most of the time, can lead you to be overly considerate of other people's speaking time or become preoccupied with how your contributions might affect the group dynamics. You're naturally attuned to the most subtle cues in other people. Maybe it's a frown, a quick glance away, a shift in tone during the meeting. That can be a double-edged sword because you might interpret a colleague's casual remark or their brief silence as a sign that they're judging you. And that fuels the imposter syndrome. So do they think my idea is foolish? Even when in reality, maybe they're just processing what you've said. You hold back opinions. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want there to be conflict or anybody to feel uncomfortable. But sometimes this can lead you to prioritize the group consensus, getting everyone on the same page and everyone agreeing over voicing your own perspective. You might hold back if you have a differing thought or a new idea. just because you don't want to rock the boat. And that tendency can reinforce the doubt in your head that says, if I really was competent, if I really was confident, wouldn't I feel more comfortable speaking up? So I want to know how much of this is sounding familiar to you. What of this is resonating with you? Let me go ahead and check in with the chat. Yeah, I see Rodrigo, Amber, Shruti, Crystal, Colleen. Excellent. Now, here's the thing though. While sensitivity can pose challenges, at the same time, it can be your competitive advantage. And this is what we focus on in Resilient, helping you capitalize on the upside and mitigate the downside of your innate qualities. And there are 6 of those: sensitivity, thoughtfulness, responsibility, inner drive, vigilance, and emotionality. And inside Resilient, you get access to what we call our Strive Diagnostic. That is my proprietary assessment, which helps you dimensionalize the different aspects of those 6 Strive qualities I just mentioned and how they may be working for you or against you. And it's only then, it's only through that clarity that you can feel your challenges becoming less overwhelming, becoming more manageable, more actionable. You gain insight into how to calibrate them, manage them productively. So again, if you are at all interested in learning more about Resilient, you can head to that QR code here on the screen. Early enrollment is open right now. It is your chance. There's only a few more days to get that $500 off, and the spots are filling up fast. So head to that QR code on the screen or melodywilding.com/resilient, where you can learn more about the program. You can also sign up for a free call with me to talk about whether it's right for you. I like to say that those Strive qualities are they're not innately good, they're not innately bad. They are something to be balanced, just like any other attribute. If they are out of balance, your qualities become overused or they get in your way. They lead to self-sabotage. But if they are balanced and they are channeled correctly, they become your greatest advantage. For example, while you might feel slower to speak up and contribute, your deep processing means that when you do speak up, your points are often, they're well thought out, they're insightful. And in a world where people often speak before they think, that type of contribution can really be a breath of fresh air. They're likely to be more nuanced, more considered, offering perspectives other people may have overlooked. And this can make you a go-to person for really thoughtful, high-quality input. High empathy makes you attuned to the undercurrents in a meeting, the tensions, the unspoken disagreements, the consensus that's forming beneath the surface. And that you can use that then to guide the flow of the meeting and how you react. You can be the one who helps bridge gaps, identifies where more discussion is needed, who pinpoints when and where the team has reached agreement. And that role is crucial, especially if you have a high stakes discussion. You can position yourself as a mediator, a really valuable contributor that brings people together. Your sensitivity to other people's reactions and feelings can also make you more inclusive. You're likely to notice if someone else is trying to speak up, but they are getting overlooked, or if someone else's ideas aren't being given the same consideration as other people's. So by bringing these observations into the conversation, things like, I think Alex was trying to add something a moment ago. You do your part to make the environment more inclusive, more collaborative. And that not only benefits the team and the culture, but it positions you as a leader. Your introspective nature does make you slower to react. But that also means you're less prone to just having a knee-jerk reaction, to being swayed by groupthink. In meetings where strategic decisions are being made, your ability to step back and reflect can be a really significant asset. You can provide a more balanced, considered viewpoint rather than just a hasty decision. And that can steer the discussion in a more productive way. So I want to know in the chat, go ahead and type in, how is hearing this changing how you see yourself? How is what I'm sharing changing how you view the value you bring to the table and your contributions in meetings? So this is exactly the type of work we do inside Resilient. And this program is designed to help you not just arrive at, but truly internalize and take action on a newfound level of confidence within yourself. And this 3-month group coaching experience, it's called life changing for a reason. And that's our alumni's words. That is not mine. We focus not only on mindset, but also arming you with very tactical, practical, and weekly coaching to overcome imposter syndrome, people pleasing, overthinking, and lots more. And again, remember, early enrollment is open now, only for a limited time. There's only a few days left to get that $500 off, and already over half of the spots are taken. So use that QR code here on the screen, take out your phone, head to the camera app. It'll bring you to that link, or you can head to melodywilding.com/resilient to learn more or schedule a free call with me. You can also DM me here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Now, in Resilient, you do get access to the really tactical lessons, our weekly coaching calls. We also give you lots of resources, scripts, templates to help you feel more comfortable speaking up at work, getting your voice heard at meetings, and beyond that. So I really want to encourage you to check it out if this is something you have struggled with and you want to improve heading into next year. For right now, though, I want to give you a few of my favorite strategies, ones I have seen be effective for our clients to help them get their voices heard in meetings. Speak up early. Number one, speak up early. Speaking up early on in meetings, being one of the first people to contribute, can be surprisingly effective, especially as a sensitive striver. When you speak up early, you set the tone that you will be participating throughout the meeting. It positions you as an active contributor from the start. It makes it easier to continue contributing as the meeting goes on, because the longer you wait, the more your fear will build. So by contributing early on, you avoid that mounting pressure, the overthinking spiral that can occur when you're waiting for that just right moment to speak. Early in a meeting, people are usually more attentive. They're less likely to be distracted by their thoughts or their email. And this means that you have a better chance of being heard and having your ideas be taken into consideration. And once you've spoken up, there's a sense of relief and accomplishment. And that positive reinforcement, like, oh, I did the thing, it can really boost your confidence for the rest of the meeting. So before the meeting, maybe you prepare a comment or a question you can use to jump into the discussion early on. And remember, this doesn't have to be groundbreaking. Let go of that perfectionism. This just has to be something to get you started. So I want you to make it a personal goal to contribute within the first 10 to 15 minutes of a meeting. Give me a +1 if you can commit to that. Contributing in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the meeting. I want you to treat this as almost a small challenge to yourself. Okay. Let's see. I'm checking in with the chat. Crystal was saying, this is insightful. I didn't realize some of these internalized thoughts that I consistently have. Yeah, I'm glad it's opening your eyes up, Crystal. Excellent. All right. Second strategy, the pass the baton strategy. The pass the baton strategy. So before the meeting, take some time to review the agenda. Identify if there are certain topics or segments where you feel you can make a meaningful contribution to the conversation. Reach out to the meeting organizer in advance. Let them know you have some thoughts to share on that specific agenda item. This isn't about asking for permission. It's about signaling your intent to contribute. And during the meeting, the organizer, who is now aware of your intention, can pass the baton to you at the right moment. So for example, they might say, oh, I know Crystal had some insights on this topic. Crystal, would you mind sharing your thoughts on that? So by informing the organizer in advance, you're creating a commitment to yourself to speak up. This is a form of accountability that can help overcome those last-minute hesitations or those doubts. And this strategy also provides a structured opportunity for you to speak. It's particularly helpful if you are someone who finds it hard to feel out the just right moment to interject. When the organizer calls on you, it gives your contribution an air of authority and importance. It signals to others that your input is valued, it's anticipated, and that can really improve your credibility in the eyes of all of the other people there. Knowing that there's a specific time allocated for you to speak can also reduce the anxiety of trying to find an opening in the conversation. It also allows you to prepare yourself mentally for that moment to speak. Since you know in advance where you are going to be contributed, or you're going to contribute rather, you can prepare more targeted, more impactful discussion points. Now, when you reach out to the organizer, be clear about which part of the agenda you're interested in. So you might say, I have some thoughts on the Q3 marketing strategy that I would like to share. And even though you do have a structured opportunity to speak, you still need to prepare. So maybe you jot down some key points to make sure that you stick to that, you're clear and concise. And initially, you might use those key points as a crutch to make sure you speak up. And the strategy of passing the baton as a crutch to provide accountability that you actually say something. But over time, as you become more comfortable, you will probably find it easier to jump into discussions without needing this pass the baton strategy. All right, so let me know what is resonating with you in the chat, what you are thinking of trying. I always love to hear. Let's talk about interjecting tactfully. Now, especially for sensitive strivers who might be more naturally inclined to avoid interrupting or imposing on others, here's how you can do it effectively in a way that both respects that there's a flow of the conversation, acknowledges the contributions of other people, but also make sure your voice is heard. Timing is key here. You want to look for natural pauses or sense out natural pauses in the conversation, or when a transition is coming. The timing makes your interjection feel more like part of the flow rather than just a disruption. So start by acknowledging what the previous speaker has said. So this shows you're listening, you're respecting them. It's especially important if you are interrupting someone that has more power than you. So you might say, that's an interesting point, or I appreciate what you just shared about XYZ. So set that collaborative tone and phrase what you are speaking up about as an addition, not a correction. So frame what you are interjecting to talk about as building upon or adding to that point, rather than contradicting or correcting the other person. So that approach is less likely to put others on the defensive, more likely to be received positively. Now, have you ever been in a meeting and you shared an idea and the conversation just seems to go on? It's like no one heard what you said. When that happens, don't just let the conversation move on. If you have an idea and it is overlooked, do not let the opportunity pass. Someone else may share it and they might get credit. So first, it's completely normal for ideas to get overlooked, especially meetings are moving fast. There's a lot of people. It's a very dynamic atmosphere. So this understanding can help you approach the situation without feeling like you've been slighted. After your idea is initially overlooked, wait for a natural break in the conversation, like I mentioned earlier. You don't want to interrupt someone else mid-thought, but you also don't want to wait too long and lose the context of your idea where the moment has completely passed. So when you find an appropriate moment, bring your idea back into the conversation. You might say, I'm curious to hear what everyone thinks about the idea I shared earlier. Or could we circle back to the point I raised earlier? I would appreciate some feedback on XYZ. Or something like, to add to our current discussion, I think the point I raised earlier about ABC ties in well here. What does everyone think about that? Or last one, I believe my earlier comment about XYZ is relevant to what we're discussing now. Could we dive into that a bit further? As a sensitive striver, you may naturally shy away from putting yourself forward, but looping back is a gentle yet assertive way to make sure your idea is acknowledged. And you are gradually becoming more comfortable advocating for your ideas by doing that. Looping back shows that you are not just being passive. You are committed to your ideas, your willingness to engage in the discussion further. And by ensuring that your ideas are heard, that credit is given where credit is due, you set an example for other people who might feel overlooked. So there you have it. Those are our strategies today for getting your voice heard in meetings. Let's go over them once again. And I want to hear from you in the chat. Which of these are you going to try? Our first strategy, speak up early. Number 2, the pass the baton strategy. Number 3 is to interject tactfully. And number 4 is to loop back. So which of those are you going to try? Share in the comments here. Speak up early, try the pass the baton strategy, interject tactfully, or looping back. We also talked about how you can use your sensitivity as a competitive advantage in your communication by being more thoughtful, strategic, bringing people together. If you have ever wished that you could get out of your own way at work, to quiet that constant chatter in your mind, to feel strong and confident instead of insecure, then you're going to want to join us inside of Resilient. As I mentioned earlier, that is my 3-month group coaching program for sensitive strivers. Our alumni call it transformational, life-changing. It has helped hundreds of sensitive strivers over the last 4 years get skip level promotions, 6-figure bonuses. And what's even more important and more profound are their inner transformations. We care so much about helping you become a happier, more secure version of yourself. So let's make 2024 your year to build solid confidence so you can make clear and rational decisions. So you can feel safe disconnecting from work, allowing yourself to rest, having a life beyond the office. So you can break free from people pleasing that keeps you overextended. So you can tackle disagreements and conflict with others with more ease. And so that you can become more visible, you can show up as a high-profile candidate for new opportunities. So all of this and so much more is possible with Resilient. And this is our 3-month signature coaching program for sensitive strivers. It is officially open now for early enrollment, but only until Tuesday can you save $500 off your enrollment. And the spots are filling up fast. As I mentioned, we're halfway full at this point, and that early bird rate expires on Tuesday. So if you are at all interested, head to that QR code here on the screen. Grab your phone, take out the camera app. That will bring you right to the page to learn more. You can also head to melodywilding.com/resilient. And there you can get all of the details about the program. You can book a free call with me. You can also message me here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Let's see. I'm checking out your commitments here. Crystal was saying, pass the baton. Sean said, I like the idea of the looping back strategy. Amber is going to try interjecting tactfully and looping back. Rodrigo said all of them. Love to hear it. Ambitious. Rashmi said, I'm going to start with speaking up early. I think the reimagining 3 partners are great. Love that. Love that. Now, our alumni say that Resilient is unlike anything they've tried before. And that's because we have combined live coaching, a customized curriculum for you as a sensitive striver, and a high level of community of other supportive, sensitive strivers that become your brain trust. On those live calls, that is where you are getting direct access to me, to my certified co-coach, to tackle the challenges and the situations you're facing. You get those actionable, concrete lessons, all tailored to the challenges you face as a sensitive striver. And that group support, having that brain trust, is truly, truly invaluable and life-changing. So again, if you are at all interested in Resilient, head to that QR code here on the screen or melodywilding.com/resilient. You can also send me a DM. I am happy to chat with you about your situation, whatever questions you have. All right, everyone, that is it for now. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you very soon. Bye, everyone.